Classic choices, classic choices. I'll speak on the viability of the characters here in just a second as soon as I get everyone's board updated. Give me a moment. We have Marissa, who's worth 70 points for an LNN. For Borealis, three-legged chair, uses Reimu, which is 75 points. And Mima, his base, 65 points. So, we are using last year's metrics for the qualifiers in specific. And the way that these work is that it's minus 20 points per miss. Mystic Square is a slightly different category. So, in accordance to last year's rules, you get bonus points if you can fulfill a few requirements during the run. If you fight Yuki during the stage 4 boss, you get more points. And if you fight Yumiko and shoot down everything she does, you also get bonus points. Right, so yeah, Marissa, Reimu, and Mima for Dwayne. This is our first three-way match. Pretty cool. Three-legged chair is slightly struggling here. Just like I was at the start of the stream, but as always, the hardest part of any stream is just starting it. But now, we should be mostly smooth sailing. Sadly, I do not know how to get rid of the text here for Dwayne. Sadly, when it comes to these boutique qualities, these boutique categories, sometimes strange measures have to be taken to make sure everything even works to begin with. We are around on 56 minutes remaining on the reset timer. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how Mystic Square works. Quite a lot like all of the early Toho games, there is a rank system here. A few people do like to manipulate it in a few distinct ways. Most of them involve dropping items, especially certain valuable items like lives or bombs. Those affect your rank the most. But the most relevant things here are mostly related to which characters you're using. Mima is pretty much the main character, the actual main character of this game. She is the no-nonsense, no real drawbacks character. She has medium range, but very high damage, and also very high speed, most relevantly. Because the PC98 games are games with so much strange hitbox properties, micros are not something that is usually that common. Speed is very valuable because the field is actually slightly wider than it is taller, very much unlike the Windows games. So Mima ends up becoming the most relevant character due to basically having no downsides, like I said, highest average damage and also just highest speed, which is important. Marissa is it's funny because in a sense she is the least interesting character in the game, but that also might make her the most interesting. She's a very overlooked character because most people playing this will either go straight up to Mima, who's just a better Marissa, or they'll go to the much worse characters Reimu and Yuka because they just work in a more interesting fashion. So Marissa has actually become a very rare sight. So it's actually quite interesting to see how they work. We did see some Marissa in a few earlier RTF iterations, but not a whole lot here. Borealis is a very strong player, so it's very interesting to see how they choose to wrap specifically Marissa here. Reimu is a character that has been through very big shifts in opinion as of late. The meta of RTF, well, yes, it's RTF, but also just PC98 in general, has developed quite a lot, especially over the last year or so. And one of the biggest discoveries, well, more like recontextualization rather than discovery, of a few mechanics that we are in the game, is that from every single game, from Touhou 2 to Touhou 8, the damage calculation works as such that every single bullet that hits on the same frame will get damage limited. So there's a damage cap for every frame. While playing Touhou 4, Lotus Land Story with Marissa A, which is by far the strongest character in that game, I personally discovered that trying to shoot down Yuka 2 Final from different ranges would often result in very wildly different KO timers. So we started looking into footage of me playing the game, combined with a few snippets of decompiled code. And this is how we found out how the damage cap works. So basically, if you can position yourself such that you can hit most, if not all, your bullets on different frames, you actually deal way more DPS than the game would ever intend you to. And thus, Marissa A in LLS became way better. But you might be wondering, why are we talking about LLS here in the Mystic Square qualifiers? Well, because of the discovery of the damage cap exploits in LLS, we started looking for them in the other games, and we didn't find much, but what we have found is what is happening on Three-Legged Chair stream right now. So, ow. Well, they died, which is unfortunate. So yeah, on Three-Legged Chair stream, we see here that they actually did not get full power despite how far they were into the game. Reimu specifically, if she is on Cyan power, because the way this game works is that on every single change for the power color bar, you promote your shot type. When she's on Cyan specifically, Reimu will deal more damage because all her shots will hit on different frames. She deals so much more damage that it's borderline doubled. She deals very slightly less damage than Mima at range, and on shotgun range she actually deals more. So this one made Reimu go from probably the worst character in the game to at least not the worst. Wow, nice dodge there from Dwayne. Yeah, very nicely handled here on the final of Alice. Yeah, I haven't been able to talk about much of the match going on because there's so many mechanics to explain here if you're not familiar with MS. Yeah, so like I was saying, if you are on Cyan power for Reimu, you deal way more damage, and that makes her viability way better because normally she deals rather abusively low damage and she's almost unusable. She takes way more than even Yuka, which is a wide shot and often struggles to hit targets right in front of her with more than just one of her main shots. So that ends up becoming the central issue here. Of course, Reimu is still potentially only the third best in the game because speed is so important, and Reimu is very slow. And that's ended up becoming the biggest conundrum for her going forward. Her viability has been massively improved thanks to the damage exploits, but she still is a character that mostly struggles. But now we can talk about the game properly. We have 60 minutes of reset timer, which is very little considering that this is the longest PC98 game. That is in pod, of course. It's the longest by far. It's about 28 minutes for a run, and the early game is very, very long. Borealis is thankfully past the early game, and Dwayne is no miss into Blueeze, as we jokingly like to call her, because she's a reused asset from the stage 2 boss. Yeah. Let me put the miss counts, as much as thankfully none of them have taken any misses yet. Mystic Square is actually, nowadays, the game has been ground down to a science. This is a very consistent game. So despite the fact that it's very long, I do feel like 60 minutes is pretty much appropriate. There's no reason to have a very long reset timer for this game. You might as well put the added pressure into getting the best run you can as fast as possible. It is a way to keep the game fresh and interesting. On previous RTF editions, Mystic Square actually had relatively long reset timers. I don't actually remember how long it was on RTF 25, but on RTF 24, which was our first edition, we had 90 minutes, which is unthinkable nowadays. 90 minutes is... We have standardized all the reset timers for this year, and 90 minutes is how much the scoring categories get. All the survival categories that aren't Lenin 1 will get 60 minutes, which is how long the extra survival category had last year. And extra survival this year has 30 minutes. The wait stream seems to have frozen. What's up with that? Well, I should keep mental notes of Oh no, their stream unstuck. Well, it probably has delay, but nothing we can do about that, sadly. Nothing I can do about the text either, but you know. These games do have a vintage appeal to a lot of people because they're so old. So you can just pretend this is Soul, and we're watching an early YouTube video, and I don't know, we can just pretend that says unregistered Hypercam 2 instead of Dwayne da apresentação. And we are having to do this through Google Meets because Dwayne has trouble streaming. Yeah, so I believe that what Borealis is trying to do here is trying to set up an extend cancel for the end of stage 4, which it can be slightly problematic of a section. Okay, so I don't think Dwayne is actually going for Yuki. Yuki has been the meta in RTF ever since we started giving explicit bonuses for shooting her down in specific. Oh wait, trying to shoot her down? Very risky right now because there's a lot of fire here. Oh yeah, we're going for Mai, so no Yuki bonus for this run. Borealis is now reaching the stage 4 duo boss. Which, well, does give me time then to explain how they work vaguely. So, this is one of the only true duo boss fights in this whole series. Yuki and Mai are partnered together and they shoot independently of each other. So your goal here is to try to shoot them down, but of course there's a plot twist that halfway through the fight you actually end up downing one of them, and the other one assumes for a unique fight for the second half. Who you shoot down on the first half will leave the other one for the second half. So if you shoot down the one wearing black, you fight the one wearing white. The one wearing black being Yuki and the one wearing white being Mai. And if you shoot down the one wearing white, you fight the one wearing black. Notably, of course, Mai in white is a much easier second half than Yuki, which is why RTF rewards you if you decide to go for a shoot down on... If you decide to, you know, shoot down Mai and fight Yuki on the second half. Yuki is way harder. Mai has perhaps only one really difficult attack, which is the roulette. The rest are all extremely consistent. They're not necessarily static. You have static elements to them. Not necessarily static, but they are very consistent. Very difficult here. Nice. And then Borealis also opts into fighting Mai. I guess they probably haven't practiced Yuki much, and Mai is just that much more consistent. Because if you go to Yuki and die, you're actually in a deficit. So Dwayne, no miss, going into the stage 5 mid boss. Very terrible decision there for a second. And this is the roulette, the only really attack that can mostly do something. Of course, another thing to note about this fight, because this is a fight with a lot of shenanigans, something to note is that in their final phase, because the first half of the fight with the duel fight has 3 phases. In the final phase, their second attack in the queue is one where they fire the big Cheeto lasers that try to home in on you. You might have noticed that they actually stop firing altogether when that phase is on the screen. And there's a very good reason for that. If you actually shoot down the first half of the fight while those lasers are up, what will happen is that those lasers will actually come back and reactivate invisibly during the final boss's cutscene. It's very difficult to avoid, pretty much guarantees a miss. So people just try to avoid that bug altogether and don't fire during that section. Ah, well, the three-legged chair got shotgun here by little Alice. That sucks. Wow, that sucks so bad. That's the first miss here. Yeah, so Alice likes to take prisoners with her opener, which is a very hard pattern. And I believe that's a miss, actually, for Borealis. They had it's a miss for both of them. Wow. Yeah, it's very hard to keep track of things when I'm alone. But yeah, now everyone is one miss. It's just unfortunate because, again, very hard game on the late game here. This is a extremely... Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's a 2 miss here for Dwayne on a very, very real chance here of a game over. So, yeah, the thing about Mystic Square is that as much as this is a consistent game, it's probably no exaggeration to say that well over half the difficulty is concentrated just here on this boss, yeah. Just here on this boss, which is Yumeko, the original Stage 5 made boss. Yeah, so that's a reset for Dwayne. So back to no miss. Perhaps as soon as Borealis can get into Yumeko, we can explain a few mechanics about her a little better. So, yeah. Again, speaking of mechanics, Borealis is not shooting down this big mid-boss over here because... Oh, that's an extend. Nice. You decide to grab the extend, even though this does spike your rank somewhat. Oh, that's a 2 miss here for Borealis. This spam is very hard. Yeah, so the way that Stage 5 works is that... exactly like USD Stage 5, if you keep the mid-boss... Well, mid-boss Sakura in USD and the unnamed mid-boss here on Mystic Square, if you keep her on the screen for longer, what will happen is that you actually end up skipping large chunks of the stage, and this is very necessary here, far more necessary than it is on USD, because the spam section after the mid-boss is extremely difficult, very random, and yet, well, I think there are about 3 random elements and 1 aimed element. The aimed element looks exactly like this, like Yumeko's big strings of feather arrow bullets or whatever. So, they fire big aimed balls at you, very hard. Yeah, and now Borealis makes it to Yumiko. So the scores are wrong. Oh yeah, well, now the scores are wrong anyway because Borealis missed. Yeah, it's 55 in this. Yeah, it's 10. Sorry for the late update. And so Yumiko, for some reason, works in reverse to what all rage phases in the series work. Rage phases are usually here to prevent people from trying to chase multi-stage patterns by just pacifisting them. They punish the player for that by sending a special, extremely hard phase. But Yumiko works in reverse. Yumiko works in reverse for some reason. So if you actually try to shoot down these phases, phases 2 and 4, what'll happen is that she will start the rage phase. So if you pacifist it, you don't actually get it. I feel like a chair is paused. Yeah, well, Borealis is showing off a funny strat here that you can do with this, where you can make her swipe these line bullets all over the place. It's mostly just for swag because it's a very easy phase otherwise. I play it really safe though, but yeah, 4 miss means no points, but no points is still worth more than... Damn it, why there's so much noise outside? No points are still worth more than not even finishing a run, so it's probably worth it. Probably worth it just to get anything going. Three-legged chair misses here, so 35, 2 miss. So much stuff happening, everyone at completely different parts of the game, so very hard to keep track of. Three-legged chair loses cyan power right before the duel battle. This is extremely bad and will probably be seeing a reset because without well, full power ray move in Mystic Square is already very weak, and yellow and green power ray move is even sadder. So it's very likely that we'll be here for a very, very long time. And being here for a long time is really bad because this is actually one of the few inconsistent parts of the game here, the duel fight. Borealis is opting to time this out. What is up with that? I've never actually seen this strat before. Yeah, now they're shooting. I don't know what that was all about. Three-legged chair still on green power, which is very worrying, especially if they have to fight the second half like this. At least we picked Mai. But still pretty bad. You have to be really careful here. Now Borealis makes it into the attack that would later be adapted into Petaflare for Subterranean Animism. Very bad RNG here, actually. Very nice. And now, safe spot. "34 minutes remaining, thereabouts. Not a whole lot more time for runs. But three-legged chair's run here is frankly in big risk of also just finishing and yet not scoring. Well, that's a very unfortunate miss. Very unexpected to dying to the laser here on my final. It's not common. It takes forever to time out the phase here for Borealis. Yeah, it's much safer to do that. You can just stand on top. So Borealis here is going on pretty nice track here to probably finish with the 4 miss, which grants no points, but however, this will put them on first place. Because again, a finished run is more than a run that doesn't even exist. But Marissa here struggles because her damage output is pretty sad. Marissa might actually be the character that averages the lowest DPS nowadays. Yuka's far distance DPS is pretty bad. Oh, that's a 5 miss for Borealis and a very real risk of game over. Yeah, Marissa's poor damage here potentially really screwing Borealis over. It does mean she deals with this part here the longest. Oh, nice. Alright, then Borealis finished this run. Barely have time to update here the scoreboard for them. 5 miss. Oh yeah, what the wall? The rare feathered bullet wall there. Well, that's a 5 miss for Borealis as he takes the lead with Marissa 5 miss worth no points. But like I said, it still puts him at first place as of right now. There 31 minutes remaining here, halfway through the game. Borealis finally takes the lead by putting a run on the board. Wade is doing what? Oh, he's checking the score. Interesting. Yeah, well, there's the score. Oh, miss for three-legged chair. Yeah, let's adjust the scores here to reflect it slightly better. Ah, well, the legged chair is struggling badly here. Oh, that's a bomb, so that's just a reset, I suppose. On the way here is no miss going into Alice final, which is a good pace. We're past. We are past the thick of it as far as the early game is concerned. Borealis resets here. Borealis is in the lead, 28 minutes, which is about one full run. Borealis can still very comfortably reset here at any point in the game, but the other players perhaps not so much. Well, Free-Legged Share has also just restarted. Sorry, Marissa is 70, not 75. It is sadly today, because of technical constraints, I am on solo commentary. So we have to take care of tech and commentate at the same time, and also keep track of the misses. Free-Legged Share was on a very deep run before he train wrecked on Yumiko. Borealis switched to Mima. Yeah, I just realized Borealis switched to Mima. Perhaps trying to oh, that's a miss for Dwayne. How unfortunate here. And right before the mid boss, this is a very odd place to see a miss. Very unfortunate too, because there's still a miss hotspot right after this. Oh, it's a reset. We have all three players here in the early game. Borealis has switched to Mima out of Marissa, presumably because we don't have much reset timer left, and perhaps any improvement to his current run here would really solidify a nice lead. Three-Legged Share is playing Reimu, which scores significantly better than Marissa or Mima. But it is really worrying here because, of course, even with Cyan power, she arguably doesn't compare. So you need to at least finish a run. And yeah, for everyone listening in on the voice chat, sadly, I cannot screen share today. So you guys will be seeing the video on YouTube probably within the next hour or so. So don't worry about it. You guys won't miss context for too long. Right now, the situation is Borealis has taken the lead with a Marissa 5 miss or no points. And there are no finished runs from either Dwayne or Three-Legged Share. Three-Legged Share was on a 4 miss pace going into Yumiko, but then they 2 missed immediately to phase 2 and reset. Dwayne has had a couple of deep runs, but they are doing full rank manip, no points collected, which forces this game to become, well, depends on if you capture the life piece that you get after the stage 5 mid-boss. If you do, this is a 3 miss game, and if you don't, this is a 2 miss game. Dwayne is playing a relatively risky game here. Of course, if neither Dwayne nor Three-Legged Share end up finishing a run, they theoretically tie, but it doesn't matter since this is winner takes all. First place qualifies to the main game. We will be scheduling all the RTF matches as soon as possible. But for the people here listening on the voice chat, we can pretty much roleplay that this is... can pretend that this is like a radio show here. You guys are on your car listening to RTF FM here. The live play. So, let's keep on moving. All players here are still stuck in the early game. Borealis is on stage 2 here. 23 minutes remaining. Three-legged chair is Reimu. Right into Louise. And Dwayne had to reset a little while ago, and now is on. It has just gotten past Sarah. No misses for any of these three. Three-legged chair is about to fight Louise as Reimu. Louise has exactly one decently difficult attack, but you do get reasonably accustomed to it eventually. Yeah, everyone. Today we are role-playing that this is Radio RTF. Yes, this is Radio RTF. RTF FM 107.7. The video will be up in pretty much exactly an hour, I believe. So again, you guys will not go footageless for that long. Yeah, as of right now, I cannot screen share the match itself. Three-legged chair makes it out of stage 2 using Reimu. No miss. Borealis also does, so Borealis, no miss into 2. Three-legged chair, no miss into 2. Dwayne just past the stage 2 mid-boss, Mima. 22 minutes remaining. Now, stage 3 has a few complications here with the stage section because there are a few parts where a lot of fairies come out the side and then they fire a mix of spam and aimed around you lanes. However, there are strategies that you can use to make this extremely consistent, and by strategies I mean that I think this happens 5 times across the stage and you can safe spot it the first 4 times. And the final time has no spam, so you just kind of stream it around you. Dwayne makes it into Louise, no miss. Just as a reminder here on Radio RTF, we are 21 minutes remaining. Borealis has taken the lead with a Marissa 5 miss worth 0 points. Three-legged chair and Dwayne have had deep paces, but none of them have finished the run. Dwayne has game over to Yumiko earlier, if I remember correctly. And three-legged chair meteored against... really risky here for Dwayne for a second. Kind of messed up the final, but it was alright. Yes, so three-legged chair meteored against Yumiko phase 2. Entered 4 misses into Yumiko, but then got 2 misses immediately to phase 2 and thus had to reset. Of course, game overs won't do you much good here on survival. Three-legged chair just out of the stage 3 mid-boss, and Borealis is now right on them. Yeah. So, well, I'm glad to see at least everyone seems to be rather enjoying the Radio RTF bit that we have for the day. Don't worry, I will get the screen share working in some fashion in the future. RTF will likely begin this weekend. We will be scheduling it very soon. That's a very strange miss from Borealis, actually. Borealis dies to the final aim pellets here on stage 3. That's the first time I've ever seen anyone die to that, of all things. What? Yeah, how strange. That's an actual miss that just happened. So, Borealis is 1 miss to aim pellets at the end of the stage on stage 3, going into Alice Opener. Both three-legged chair and Borealis survive. In a case of Reimu's damage, perhaps not necessarily matching that of Mima's over time. Reimu is now tied with Mima on game progress here. 18 minutes, so that's just about enough time to finish a credit and then immediately start a new one if you have to. Come on. Let's keep on looking here. Borealis has got full power again. Three-legged chair dies to Alice final with Reimu, and they're contemplating a reset. Hello. Textpad. What's with Notepad? Three-legged chair. I hate you, Alice. All right, I hate you, Alice. Yet no reset. All right, yeah. So that's a 1 miss to Alice. Yeah, so three-legged chair has told us live on stream, I hate you, Alice. Alice fans do not approve. He died to final, which is... it's concerning considering the short reset timer we have right now. But understandable, Alice final can actually be pretty difficult. You can actually mostly skip Alice final if you do a lot of really good damage throughout the fight. There are some difficult to explain mechanics regarding Alice's shared pool of health for all of her patterns, but essentially if you can damage her enough, if you can damage Alice enough in these interim waves where she whips out the looking glass, you can actually skip part of the next wave because this is already counts as part of the next wave. And this doesn't matter except for the final, which can be a little tricky when she fires the spiral together with a little bit of spam, or the aim bullets depending on the height with which she fires them at. PC98 bosses mostly just move with a mind of their own. Wow, that was a very difficult swipe through here that Dwayne did. Very difficult final for Dwayne that survives. And Dwayne might be the one to get to stage 4 on no miss space. So yeah, Dwayne has the lead here in this credit that has started almost simultaneously for all 3 players. 16 minutes remaining of reset time, more or less. Very worrying miss for Borealis because if Dwayne can beat this credit with a nice score, Borealis will have to answer in kind as fast as possible. 15 minutes here to start stage 4, so maybe, by my estimates, I think they can kind of beat the game with like 2 minutes remaining. Perhaps. Dwayne is way tighter, I'm not even actually sure, because they're slightly behind the others. I'm not actually sure if Dwayne actually has enough time to do a credit after this one. Mystic Square is admittedly a very drawn-out game. Oh no, three-legged chair actually ends up getting caught here in the crisscross of the spinners, dice, and resets. So if this next round doesn't reset, this should be already their final credit. Oh, that's another message for us. All right, the resolution was so low. I don't know actually what they said, but it's fine. Please don't distract yourself trying to tell us. So this credit right now is just Dwayne versus Borealis. Dwayne still no miss right past the mid boss. Borealis 1 miss going right now into the duo fight. Borealis is focusing down on Mai this time. I wonder if they want to actually fight Yuki here for the Yuki bonus. Yuki bonus is technically only worth it if... That's a miss for three-legged chair immediately. It's only worth it if you can actually no miss. But we'll see, we'll see. This is such a hard wave here. Yeah, they kind of did this slightly wrong. So if you actually get the Mai to shoot her laser straight down, it sweeps faster for some reason. I think it has something to do with the angle, but it doesn't seem intuitively right to me. If she shoots at the wall, she barely swipes it. There might be some kind of mathematical reason for that to happen, but PC98 gets a lot of math equations wrong. Borealis picks the wrong lane and misses for 2 miss here. 2 miss. But Yuki fight. So he automatically gets the Yuki bonus. Yeah, the actual duel fight can be pretty nasty. That's a miss immediately to Yuki. Free miss. Wade is checking the status of the Discord and also showing us how it works. Yeah, so... Okay, so Mima is not throwing free miss, in fact. She is free miss. Free miss plus Yuki. Oh, that's a game over for Borealis. Well, that's not relevant anymore. That's an immediate miss for Dwayne now, actually. On the start of the duel fight. If he keeps not collecting lives, oh, that's a chain miss here for the start of the duel fight. Everything has just gone so wrong immediately for everyone. Oh no. Yes, so Mima no miss now for Borealis as they reset, but Dwayne is boldly deciding to keep going with this credit that 2 missed at the very start of the duel fight. Yeah, so 2 miss here for Dwayne. 25. Sadly, this kind of impasse mostly just benefits Borealis. Borealis already has a run. 10 minutes remaining here. Borealis is the only one who's finished the run, so right now they're qualifying by default. If Dwayne manages to get a better run here out of this situation somehow, they can technically take the lead, but it can seem slightly unlikely. Oh no! Miss here on the roulette wheel for Dwayne, and that's a game over to a reset. But where everyone here is back to stage 1, baby. We are probably at the last credit unless they decide to just start chain missing on the early game. Dwayne's stream struggling a little bit. I've technically never ended up switching out of Borealis's audio, but I guess it doesn't really matter much because Dwayne's stream has no sound as of right now, which is fine, whatever. Technical difficulties. I'm glad we could get a feed out of Dwayne in general. Three-legged chair has technically mostly been through the early game while Borealis was through the late. 8.5 minutes remaining of reset timer. Again, we take a look here. This is Borealis using Mima versus Three-Legged Chair using Cyan Reimu and Dwade using Mima. Results are that right now at exactly 8 minutes sharps remaining, we have Borealis first place, currently set to qualify as of right now with a Marissa 5 miss, and Three-Legged Chair and Dwade tied exactly with no runs. Well, I guess I never also updated the target, but technically they haven't scored. We should set the target then for everyone, especially at this point in the match. The target for Three-Legged Chair and Wade is just finish. Reset here for Three-Legged Chair. As of right now, resets might as well not matter because the moment you get out of the early game, that's your lot. Mystic Square's early game is brutal, not because it's hard, but because it's very long. This is the longest stage 1 in the series, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, stream frozen. And we have a very long stage 1 and also a very long stage 2. It makes credits in this game feel like a little bit of a drag. Yeah, hide Wade. Well, right now, if you're tuned into RTF FM 107.7, well, 107.7. What were radio frequencies again? Is it megahertz or gigahertz? I don't remember. Well, anyway, you're here on your commute to work here in this morning, this Monday morning qualifier here for RTF. Make sure to drive safely and to Petrofumos. Drive safely. Brake for wildlife on the road. What are other stereotypical? Oh my god. What are other stereotypical advice that we can give on the highway? I don't know. Don't tailgate people. That's a good one. I feel like a chair has died like thrice in a row to the first few enemies. Borealis has seemingly gone full rank manip and stopped collecting items altogether, maybe? That's nice. Borealis is into stage 3, no miss. All right, so back here. 4 minutes remaining. Your 4 minutes remaining as everyone is still in the early game. Well, I don't know exactly what we're hoping to see here. This is a dangerous position for everyone. Borealis' decision to finish their Marissa run really paid off. Because at least it gets them a run on the board. The alternative would potentially have been to have reset that run, which would end up forcing a tiebreaker. And a tiebreaker situation is not necessarily the fairest thing, because it's pretty much just who gets the better run, or in the case of LLS, like what happened in the LLS qualifiers, who gets the farthest. In case everyone DNFs. So this is a fairer situation for everyone if at least somebody finishes a credit. Borealis' decision here, again, really paying off potentially. But it all depends here on what happens in this likely final credit. Two minutes remaining, 120 seconds. Yeah, Borealis taking that final stage section there really carefully after what happened last time. Borealis' through Alice opener. Approaching the final moments of reset timer here. I see that Dwayne has actually opted into getting the extend here, probably to avoid a game over situation again. And so has Borealis. Borealis is into Alice final. And we are no miss into stage 4. 10 seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Yeah, the reset timer is over. This is the final credit for everyone involved. And Dwayne gets past a nasty Alice open. 3 Alice sneezes in a row, and Dwayne survives. And that's a miss for three-legged chair. The time is up. Miss on stage 2. How tragic. Immediately after the reset timer ends. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. It might look like this is down to Dwayne and Borealis right now, but you never know. Yeah. Oh no, that's a miss now too. Yeah. And three-legged chair is out. Now this is a competition between Dwayne and Borealis. A miss to laser phase here on Louise, the second to last. Good luck, guys. Yeah. No, Borealis and Dwayne are certainly very thankful, I would imagine. Well, I'll switch to the proper layout in just a moment. Tough situation here for everyone. Dwayne has everything to prove, and Borealis has nothing to lose. But I will be switching streams in just a second, everyone. Just give me a moment for everything to be updated. And it should look decent. Let's take a look then. Yeah, so we have Borealis at the top, no Miss Mima, and Wade at the bottom, no Miss Mima. Took a slightly unusual route here for the end of stage pellets as Borealis makes their way into the duo fight. Dwayne trailing slightly behind. Yeah, three-legged share. Third place with a DNF. Everyone holding their breath here. Borealis right now making a good effort, deciding to go for Mai this time. I suppose there's no reason to go for Yuki at this point. Just get an update on the board and that will put Dwayne in a very ugly position. Mai fight here for Borealis. No Yuki bonus. Perhaps at this point it really shouldn't matter. Wade makes their way into the start of the duel fight, and Borealis makes it through a terrible wave on the roulette here. The final heart attack here of Mai. We could be seeing a no miss into 5 here. Surprisingly difficult wave there for a second. The pellets were about to get in the way here. Mai final, as Wade is into the start of the duel fight. Relatively hard wave here, and Borealis no miss into 5. Dwayne's stream here really struggling right now. This is how you know RTF is official, because their stream, the stream of players keep chugging, but whatever. It's good now. It's good now. Don't get distracted. Stage 5 spam here for Borealis, the start of stage 5. They don't swipe anywhere near as much as I think they should, but at least they're alive. And now we have Mai here for Dwayne. No Yuki bonus for either of them. Locked in a very tight battle here as both players tied for misses. Dwayne trailing slightly farther behind right now. Just playing it slightly safer. Borealis, no miss. Dwayne, no miss. Dwayne is in the roulette here right now. Terrible wave on the roulette, and that's a miss for Dwayne. One miss for Dwayne. That's gonna cost him. It's not over yet, but it is risky. Ray loses his patience here and just goes out and mows down Mai here at the end for an immediate KO. One miss into 5. Borealis right now in the stage 5 mid boss. Dwayne swiping left to right here at the start of stage 5. Hard wave here on the end of stage 5 spam for Borealis. A very sly extend cancel here gives him a little bit of breathing room, and no miss into the end of stage 5 pellets. Come on, nobody dies to this. Don't do it. And now there's no miss into Yumiko. Dwayne, one miss going into the mid boss. Oh, here we go. Here we go, Borealis. Nasty wave here for Yumiko opener. And now it's Yumiko phase 2 timeout. No miss into here. Everyone on the edge of their seat. And that's a successful phase 2 here for Borealis. Phase 3. Lasting uncomfortably long, actually. And now phase 4. Dwayne is shooting down the mid boss, and there's 3 freezes. Come on. That's a miss for Dwayne. I can tell that from the power. They missed on the stage 5 and the stage 5 spam. 2 miss going into Yumiko for Dwayne. And Borealis is LNN pace past phase 4. Opting once again to play phase 5 here extremely safely. Well, just like Horrific 17 once told me, it feels like everyone does Yumiko's semi-final in a different way. Dwayne now on phase 2 of Yumiko. No miss into stage 6 for Borealis. Okay, Dwayne is through his 5 FPS stream. Dwayne is past phase 2, no miss. Phase 4 for Dwayne. 2 miss into phase 4. Can he repeat the success? As Borealis is now no miss into Shinky. That's a miss for Dwayne. 3 miss for Dwayne. It's a 4 miss for Dwayne. And that's a game over for Dwayne. Ah. Oh, well, damn. It's a shame. But right now, we have Ellen and Pace into Shinky here on Radio RTF. Then he immediately dies right as I say that. That might actually be my first canonical jinx ever. I don't get why he times out this phase. Why does he do it? Borealis is one miss into phase 2. As Dwayne is second place and Borealis qualifies. Alright, they should probably switch. My first canonical jinx ever. Let's get whatever the hell this is from Borealis' stream, whatever that is. Okay, we are in the safe spot. And that's not three-legged chair, actually. Come on. It's a weird little game that Borealis has there on the bottom right. Okay, well, how's everyone's day? Ah, there you go. Yeah. So this phase here for Shinky is static with this aim component. We can technically route this to never die to it ever again, and then Borealis dies to it. How unexpected! Phase 1 in the aim static phase. 2 miss for Borealis. That's a second jinx. That's not common for me. Alright. Devil's Recitation. It seems like Borealis just prefers to raw dog this. There you go. 2 miss into Shinky final. Don't die to Shinky final, please. That would be a very strange set of 3 misses. Yeah, there we go. Congratulations, I actually said congratulations. Congratulations, Borealis. Mima 2 miss for qualification. A strange set of 2 misses. But congratulations. Wow. Well, that's it. This is it then. Borealis qualifies with a Mima 2 miss to Dwayne and 3-legged chairs DNF. Congratulations. Wow, that was a interesting run, frankly. Interesting run. Well, I'll be waiting there on the festival voice chat in case they do want to. What is that gift, Borealis?
Yeah.
Hi, Borealis. Hi, Chair. Hi, Dwayne.
Hello.
Hello.
That was an interesting set of two misses that you had there.
Um, yeah, the first one was a genuine lag. I just spiked really hard and I actually just died there for no reason. The second one was a real miss though.
Yeah, it was a real goalpost moment. You kind of just did your kick and then straight into the goalpost. Very
Yeah,
worrying.
usually I have like a route for like capping Yumiko, but I've completely forgotten it now, so I just played it really safe on Yumiko.
Yeah. So
Um,
just for everyone's information here for the record, the final results are Borealis qualifies with a Mima 2 miss, Dwade second place with a DNF, three-legged chair third place with a DNF. That's the final result.
wow. Well played.
Yeah. Dwade was doing a pretty hardcore rank manip strats, so they kind of had to it had to be free miss or bust. On the final run, they actually did slightly safer strats, but sadly they still ended up getting the game
Oh,
over. But everyone played very well. Hello, what's up?
Hello.
Hmm? Hi, Dwayne. So what's up? What do you feel here?
Uh, I they're like 11 p.m. here for me, and they're like kind of chill, like cold, and I needed to make like heat up my my furnace to to not to not be cold, and so this is why uh, I want to practice you make more. I mean, at least even to try to do what's that no, just you make generally to practice, but yeah, I needed to heat up myself. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's fair enough, really. So, Chair, do you have anything to say? Oh, that's kind of crucial, yeah, because Mystic Square might as well be a waiting room for Yumiko. Yeah, the routes for her change. The routes for her on Yumiko change a lot. It's not something you can just pick up and play, sadly. Well, you did qualify for one of them, which is good. Just something to practice then. Well, anybody has any closing statements they would like to make then? What do you guys think? Reality, we're gonna say
yeah.
anything? I forgot. What's up?
Um, like any questions or
Hmm. Well, uh, I guess you just qualified for Mystic Square, which is kind of the premier category for survival here on RTF. And
Yeah.
you are up against an absolute bloodbath of a match. What are your hopes then? Because I mean, I myself just forgot who's even in it.
I
It's a
have not
bloodbath.
played this game in like 6 months. This is like the first time I've booted it up. I mean, I'm gonna. And you, are you like mean like my ideal run or?
Yeah, so let's look at your competition for this. You're up against T, Adadoge, and Izunozomi. So, are you? How are you expecting to perform? Are you going to practice for this a lot? So, how will it be for you? Do
Bro,
you expect to be able to beat these massive players here? Because you are a big player as well, and you're absolutely contributing for this to be such a massive match skill wise.
well, I'm going on vacation, man. I don't know. I'll probably play when I come back. I don't know how much. I'm probably not gonna play much, honestly. If I'm gonna keep it real, but I think my ideal run would be something like Marissa LNN with Yumiko caps, maybe. Like that would be my ideal run. I wanted to look at the Marissa Gambit, but it felt like the payoff wasn't really gonna be that good, so I just settled with Mima. For all I know, maybe Mima with Yumiko caps and Yuki might be the way, but I don't know.
Yeah, we will still discuss how to change a field of metrics because the qualifiers were explicitly on last year's metrics. We'll discuss this relatively briefly in the future, so we'll see if anything needs to be rebalanced. But that's very good then. Well, you have a very tough match ahead of you, so good luck on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 4 players.
Yeah, it's 4 players: UT,
Wow.
Zunozomi, and Adadoge.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's gigantic. That's a very big match. Well, I think this should be it then for the interview, Connor. This what has been the final qualifier match for RTF 3. Uh, we will be scheduling the matches in the coming weeks. We will probably see if we can start the main event this weekend. And this match here will be available in about an hour from when it's being recorded. Thank you very much for everyone who came. And goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, YouTube.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Kawasaki. All right, then. Goodbye.